Hello everybody, I'm Maria, the Creative Italian, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be sharing with you how to make this textured soldered pendant. It's real easy to do, but before I get started, if you're new to my channel, welcome. And also, if you like any of my videos, if you'll give me a thumbs up, it'll help me really grow my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave it in the comments. I respond in less than 24 hours, unless YouTube happens not to give me a notification, which has only happened twice, you guys. That's the only way I'm going to know, if they email me the notification. And also, if you want to know when I upload a new shorts or a new video, all you have to do is subscribe. All right, so let's get started. This pendant, these are the supplies and the tools that I will be using for this project. Of course, a soldering iron, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, nylon pliers, wire cutters, excuse me. I'm using 18 gauge copper wire, my solder, some Flux, E6000 clear, a ruler, a rubber stamp, you can get these on Amazon, an emery board or a metal nail file, and some small paint brushes. I get these at Hobby Lobby in a pack, the real inexpensive ones, throwaways. And something round. I'm going to be using a mandrel. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a mandrel. You can get whatever you have sitting around the house that's round, where you can shape for shaping the half moon. And also a charm to put on your half moon when you get finished. However, you don't have to have one. I mean, you could just leave it plain and add some beads to it if you want to. And I don't have another one of these, so I'm going to be using this to show you how I put that on. Okay, so let's get started. Nail file, you guys. This is a metal file that you get at the hardware store. I just want to clarify that. I don't think you want to file your nails with one of those. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is to get it close to this size. As a matter of fact, the length on this is 2 1/4 inches from the jump from the ring to the down here, and it's about an inch all the way across, in the widest area. So I am going to roll off 7 inches of wire, and I'm using my nylon pliers because it straightens out the wire so much easier, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is a great investment. If you don't have a pair, and if you work with wire a lot, and you plan on working with wire a lot on a roll, I highly recommend that you buy a pair. They are worth the money, and they're not even that expensive, and they got tons of them on Amazon. Okay, so let me just snip that, just like that. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to bend this and get it as even as possible right up at the top, right there, just like so. And now I'm going to kind of squish it together. This is another reason why you want these nylon pliers, because the straighter you can get your wire off the spool, the whole lot easier this is to do. I mean, it's not hard anyway, but it just, when you're making jewelry and you're working with wire and doing all this, you want things to be as easy as possible. Or at least I do. I want it as easy as possible. Okay, now I've squeezed that in as tight as I can with my hands, but now I need just a little bit more help. So I am going to take my chain nose pliers and squeeze down a little bit more, like so. And see, this is going to be that end of my pendant here. Okay, so we have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my mandrel here. Let me adjust the camera here just a little bit. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and wrap it around the mandrel so it makes a half circle, like so. And I'm going to the very top because that's the smallest. That's the smallest, the narrowest width of my mandrel. Okay. And what I did was when I was taking it off, I just bent it in just a little bit more, just so it had more of a curve, because that's a good size to use, what I just used, but I could have used it a little smaller, but the ring mandrel is too small, okay? So sometimes I have to kind of bend it in depending on the length of wire that I'm working with. All right, now here's the trick. All I'm gonna do is pull this apart and voila. Look at that, you got a half moon, isn't that cool? Real hard to do, right? Oh, that's so difficult. Okay, next step. On the shorter end, I'm gonna take my round nose pliers and put it in the pliers and make a loop going away from me, like so. So this is what it looks like on the side, just like that. And now I'm going to line it up with the bottom of the loop. I'm just going to take my chain nose pliers and right across from where the loop is, right there, right here, I'm going to take this and bend it down like so. Okay, can y'all see that? I want to make sure I got it in the camera, like that, just like so. And now I'm going to hold oops, hang on. Just gonna push that down there a little bit. Okay, so as you can see where the loop is and where I bent the longer piece, let me get this out of the way. I think it's blocking the view maybe a little bit. Okay. See where I have it? It's just laying over top of this piece here, on top of it. And now I'm going to take that long piece and I'm going to wrap it away from me and up towards me. And I'm only doing 2 wraps, just like that. So this is what it looks like. I haven't finished the wrap. I mean, I haven't finished coming around the other side, but okay, like that. So as you can see, it's just 2 wraps. That's it. And when I cut it, I want it to be on the underside right here. I don't want it to be on the top when I get ready to cut it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take it and sort of bend it up just a little bit. If I wrap it around too much, I'll just bend it just a tiny bit, and then I'll come in and snip like so, and then press it down just like that. So that way we don't have to worry about any kind of scratching going on or anything like that. Now, what I like to do is I like to take the loop, so you can see it's kind of, it's at a curve a little bit to my left. What I'm going to do is just take the bottom of that loop and my needle and my chain nose pliers and just straighten it out just a little bit. So it's just straight, just like that, okay? I hope I make sense. So I want to make sure that I squeeze this down and I press down with my needle point or my chain nose pliers really good so that this doesn't slide up and down, you guys. Now this right here, as you can see, the tail of this, it's just turned a little bit. Can you see that? So what I did to solder this is I took the tail and I flattened it out. Just like, so it's not twisted around, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. But I want it to be flatter so I can get my solder on there, like so. And then I just kind of bent it out just a little bit. Now, what you'll notice is, let me show you something. Oh boy, cannot believe I forgot this. You need a bench block and you need a hammer. See, I'm always forgetting something when I do my videos. I'm always forgetting some kind of piece of equipment, you know. I try to really plan and get things lined up, but I swear I do forget some stuff. Okay, the reason why is because after you've done your wire here, your half moon, you want to take your hammer and flatten out the wire. Step is to take my emery board or my metal file and file this piece on both sides. A lot of wire has coating on it. Craft wire has a coating. It's a coating, if I don't do this and I try to solder over the coating, it's just not going to stick. So anyway, this is what I do. I take my emery board or my nail or my metal file and just rough up the texture really good, just like that. And then I've got my Flux in my cap right here, as you can see, Studio from Hobby Lobby. I love this Flux, by the way. And then I find that I only have to flux on one side. That's it. Sometimes I might have to, you know, add more as I go along, but not always. You know what, you guys, what I just realized? I'm using copper wire, but I'm making a silver finish on the pendant. That was an accident, but I could have told you it was on purpose, right? For design sakes. I did it on purpose, but I didn't do it on purpose. But anyway, it doesn't matter. As long as y'all get the idea on how I make this, that's the most important thing. So actually, it'll probably look kind of cool. The copper at the top and, you know, the silver finish everywhere else. Hey, why not? I am using the Weller soldering iron here. And I have it set at, what do I have it set at? It's about between 500 and 400 degrees, okay? Let me just move this over a little bit so I don't knock it over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to be picking up just little bits of solder and just laying it on the wire here. I'm just tapping it on. If it gets too far on the my tile here, all I have to do is just move it. It's real easy. Don't touch it while you're laying down your little blobs here. It's all I'm doing, just laying little blobs down. They don't even have to touch, you guys. Now see how that one got on there? I just moved it up. It is good to have your Flux handy. So if you need to add Flux as you go along, if it's not sticking for whatever reason, you can, you know, add some more Flux and just keep trucking. And once you've done this a few times, you guys, it really does go pretty fast, okay? It took me a while. It took me some practice. I had to practice a few times. you know, as far as getting the texture on there and everything. But I have some little tips and tricks for you guys that I learned along the way that really helped me a lot. Okay, so see how that went over there? It got onto the, this is just a piece of tile. A floor tile is what I'm using, you guys, for my my surface here. It works great. That's what I've always used. I've never used anything else. So I know they have special equipment out there for soldering. But hey, I just go to Home Depot and buy one piece of tile, or Home Depot, Lowe's or Home Depot, any of those places. Yeah, that's what I do. If they have a box open, they're more than glad to sell you, a piece of tile. Okay, they're not going to open up a box for a piece of tile, but usually there's some that are sold individually for the most part. They usually always have that. And I actually have one in my official workroom. It's a piece of tile, but it's double this size. But I didn't want to use that today. I just wanted to leave it up there in my workroom. But for this video, I thought, well, all we need is something like this. So I just thought I'd share that with you in case you wanted to know, what surface I'm using. And here's the other, okay, see this right here, this piece right here? I'm gonna grab that with my pliers here and just get that back on there. It doesn't have to be perfect, That's the nice thing about this whole technique. Perfection is I'm a perfectionist, but perfection is not a plus in making this pendant because we want it to be organic looking. And need to move this around a little bit. Move it on around. There we go. I can get in there a little bit better. And I need a little bit more wire, a little bit more solder here, and a little bit more flux right there. And just dropping blobs on. That's what I call them anyway. They're blobs. Like so. Just want to make sure I got plenty on there. Right here at the top, I add a little bit. Now right here where it's skinny, I don't want it to be skinny. I want it to be full like this piece is here. So I'm just going to add another blob right there. So if you get skinny areas, just know that it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want it to have a lot of texture to it and really show up, then you pretty want your blobs, that's what I call them, right? Blobs. You want your blobs to be big. Big blobs. Okay, so here I'm going to be painting some more flux on my solder here. And you especially want to do this if you have lead-free solder that you're working with, so that as you're heating it up and using your rubber stamp, it'll flow, so the metal will flow, and you'll get that texture in there. Because we're going to be working fast doing this. I found it to be more so the case with lead-free solder than with solder that already, has, that's not lead-free. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to heat up. I'm going to heat this up till I see it melting, and then I'm going to smash down. Now, before I go any further, this is the stampings that I got. Let me change the size of the camera there. This is called, it's made in the USA, Deep Red Cling Stamps. It comes in a pack like this. And out of all the different rubber stamps that I've used, you guys, that's the best. It just gets that texture in there so much faster. Okay, let me get my open that up a little bit more so you get more of a close-up view of what I'm doing. And here's the great thing about it. You could just keep going until you could just keep going over it until you get it the way you want it, okay? So I'm just gonna heat it up and then smash. Heat it up, smash. Now, if I don't want that blob going on there like that, all I do is, I gotta have my rubber stamp right there as I'm heating. See, and I like that. Yep. And I can just keep going along until I get it the way I want it. But I found that I have to work pretty fast, you guys. Now, here's the thing you'll run into. Let me show you. I'm glad this happened. Okay, see how skinny that is right there? That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. All I have to do, all I have to do is go in and paint just a little bit of flux right there because it's still on my brush. Pick up a little bit more solder and just drop it down in there. That's all I have to do. Yeah, because I could heat it up and kind of move it around and spread it around if I want to, but I don't want to do that because I like the way this looks right here, okay? So now, that's all I'm doing, just adding a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to heat this up, just like so, and then smash down. Yep. It's that easy. It's so easy, and it just looks so good. And if you don't get the texture that you want, or you're not liking the texture, see, I can just move this around. And it, whoops, I almost set it on fire. I could just move this around to wherever I want it to be. I could just use the middle of it if I want to. Okay, so let me go in here and heat that up, press down. And I find that I have to press down pretty hard too. Okay, now see, that one got too smooth on me. So what I'm gonna do is, it might just need a little bit more solder. Sometimes that happens. Just, there you go. See, that's a whole lot better. Yeah, there you go, like that. See, I like the way that's looking. I think I'm gonna work down here just a little bit on the tip here. And I'm just gonna add just a little bit more solder to that area right there and just really press down hard. Okay, that was too much. A little bit. I could just get that. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Okay. So now, let's see, guys. I think I've got something going on here. Let me just get in here just a little bit. Sometimes that little corner can be a little tricky, like when you're up in here somewhere. And if it's not looking the way you want it to look, if it looks like there's just not enough texture in there, the beautiful thing is you just keep adding solder. That's all. You just have to add solder to it until you kind of get it the way you want it. See, now that's a whole lot better. Just like that. Like so. And I find, too, that I have to make sure that I press down hard. Because if I don't, it ends up spreading out onto the surface. You know, if I'm not pressing down hard enough, or sometimes if I press down too hard, that can happen too. So, okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more here. And then press. A bit more. All right, now that got away from me. So I'm just going to bring it on down. Just bring it on down, move it around a little bit if I have to. And just fill it in a little bit. just like so. Like that. See, what happens is when the wire starts to show a little bit, that's okay too. Some of it might get on the other side. You know, it wraps itself around to the opposite side. And that's okay too. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, see this? I like the way that looks. I like the way that's looking. Yeah, I could use a little bit more right there. Right here in this little area right here. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Very cool. Yeah. I'm gonna do a little bit more texture right there. Voila. Whoops, I keep hitting the camera. Okay, so I'm all finished here. And as you can see, it's got this really cool texture to it. It's not exactly the same, like the one on the left-hand side, but it's not supposed to be. So the main thing is that you all get the idea, you know, on what it's supposed to look like. Now, I'll have some sharp edges here. And I just go around, and wherever I feel a sharp edge, I take my emery board or my metal file and just file that down. And I can feel one right there. So I'm going to take that down, smooth it out. Yep, and there you go. Now, I am going to add this piece to it, just like I did on this one. Except I don't have another one of these. I got to use this so I can show you guys exactly what I do with this. I do not solder this on because it'll mess up the texture. So what I do is I use E6000. That's what I use on all my pendants like this. And you know what? They stay on forever, you guys. They really do. And all I do is just take a little bit of clear E6000. Now just a little bit too much on there. I figure out, okay, where is it going to sit on the solder? This pedal and that pedal. So I'm going to pick it up with this pedal and apply my E6000, knowing that I'm going to come all the way across because the other pedal is going to sit diagonally on the half moon across from it. And so that way I know that I got enough on there. Just like that. And it dries clear, so even if I get some on the center there of the flower, it's really not gonna, or the, that's what I call it. I call it the flower anyway. It's not gonna really matter. You know. Okay, so I make sure, where's my adhesive? It's right there. So I'm just going to sit it right here, knowing that this has got the adhesive, this has got the E6000, either end, and let it sit for 24 hours. So anyway, that's how you do that, you guys. That's how you make this great texture. You can make any shape that you want to. And I hope you'll give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. Okay guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video and you'll give it a try. If you have any questions about soldering or textured soldering or any kind of soldering, just leave it in the comments. If you have any questions, absolutely leave it down below. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to be notified when I have a new video up. And it's talking about new videos and shorts. I have several that I'm getting ready to do, and one of them is a wire wrapping crystal technique that you can either make it with earrings or you can make a pendant. And it's so easy to do, but yet it looks more advanced. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that. I don't know when it's going to be. It'll be soon, hopefully over the next week or two. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching my video. And wherever you're at in the universe, hope you have a great evening or a great day, a great morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Bye-bye.